Welcome to another episode of Hard Factor presented by the Barstool News Network. It is Tuesday, March 17th. Happy St. Paddy's Day. We've got the Mooch in the Hard Factor quarantine studio today. We've got, of course, coronavirus updates and other news. How are we feeling today, fellas?
Well, this is normally a day that my mother would take me out of school, buy me a Nintendo 64, get me a St. Patrick's Day themed McFlurry. Mm-hmm. It was our special day. Mm. We're not doing that today.
Not this year. You're just home alone, locked in your domicile, huh?
I don't even have San Francisco Rush. Nothing's good.
Bummer. Wes, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I picked up the little guy today for my week of trying to entertain him while he's out of school on spring break. We were going to go to the pool at my gym, but that's not happening anymore. So
no.
Just going to
hang out. That's a bad
out.
idea, bro. Gym pools are just filled with used Band-Aids, and that's like number one carrier for Corona.
Yeah, you're
we're not going.
You're going to have to stay home with him. And let's start off with coronavirus. So I'm going to take us through a little coronavirus update here. Hard Factor Mark, he's in his final battle with the demon, flying back to Texas right now, where a man was removed on his flight on Monday night after coughing all over Mark. So it looks like it's going to be remote cast for the Hard Factor podcast for at least the next 15 to 20 days, potentially longer. I'm assuming, Austin guys, you do not want to be in the same room.
I'm really lonely over here, and my corona has passed. So if you guys could come over, that would be awesome.
So you're inviting Mark over to your house the day after he was coughed on by a man.
Well, we just got the bench press and the squat rack set up, so I think we'll be able to tough it out.
Seems like that's counterintuitive to the direction that the CDC is giving, but more power to you. If you
I hope
guys
Mark's hungry because he's gonna be eating some plates, full plates.
If you guys get corona, I will get to watch it on Skype. So win-win. Idris Elba, the famous actor, he has coronavirus now. So Tom Hanks and Idris Elba. Idris was showing no symptoms, of course, because he's a beast. But he was unknowingly spreading it to everybody in wherever the hell he was until he got tested. So thank you.
I felt really out of the loop on this because I had no fucking idea who Idris Elba was.
What? He's been in like every movie, every blockbuster for like the last 5 years.
He's tough, Wes. He's from the crop of actors where there are no superstars anymore. I can't like my brain shut off in 2003.
Okay.
What? He's so recognizable.
What did he play? What's he in?
I don't know, but tons of movies.
Will.
There you go.
Tons of movies.
What's his biggest movie?
I can't put my finger on it right now. I know I've seen him in several movies.
I'm sure if I see him on the screen, I'll be like, oh, that guy. But I can't, like you, can't name a movie.
Whatever. The CDC has advised gatherings of no larger than 10 people at a time for at least the next 15 days and potentially much longer than that. President Trump estimates that the crisis could last well into the summer. Go to cdc.gov to find out all the latest guidelines and info on prevention and treatment. The bottom line is it's the same as it's been for weeks now. Wash your fucking hands and try to stay away from other people, especially sick people. Don't go hang out with old people if you're feeling sick. Local governments everywhere are cracking down on what's allowed. In Reno, all non-essential business is off for the week starting at 10 a.m. today. Please consult your local news to find out what the rules are near you. France and Germany join Italy and Spain in pretty much total mandatory lockdown of all continental Europe at this point. And the same could be on the way for U.S. if we can't do a good job at stopping the spread in the next 15 days while we're under these current guidelines. And a couple other fast headlines. A 53-year-old man in Nelson County, Kentucky, who has tested positive for the coronavirus, vowed that he would not obey the self-quarantine order from the hospital. So the governor has had to station state troopers outside the man's home to help contain the spread in the state of Kentucky. Wes, how does that make you feel as a former Kentuckian?
That's about par for the course. They should just chain him to a fence or something, honestly. I mean,
you can see that happening.
Yeah, I can see a guy not wanting to be, told what to do in old Kentucky.
Yeah,
Wes, we're talking movies like Thor and Prometheus,
he was exactly. He was the guy with the sword.
Pacific Rim and 37 episodes of The Wire.
Okay.
Wire, yeah, exactly. Pacific Rim, amazing movie, underrated.
We're talking blockbusters like The Gunman and The Jungle Book and
okay.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Exactly.
Pacific Rim, underrated. Idris Elba, great actor. We hope you recover from coronavirus, even though you're showing no symptoms. All right. A couple more quick headlines. Oregon police have had to ask residents to stop calling them because they've ran out of toilet paper and there's none left at the store. The police say that the residents need to get creative and find an alternative because the cops can't bring toilet paper to your coronavirus dirty ass having ass. So don't call the cops.
Common sense, yeah.
Well, why not? Because why not? I mean,
Well,
obviously,
first, if you're the kind of person that doesn't have toilet paper at this point, you probably also have the coronavirus, so the cop can't come to your house. And then on top of that, they don't have toilet paper for you.
Yeah, you might catch stupid from them too.
But my thing is like, obviously, but one of these people thought that they could bring them toilet paper. Like, what made them think
Several
that?
people, because it's out in the stores. They're like, well, it's an emergency if it's out in the stores. Yeah. All right, we're already running along, guys. Finally, Mitt Romney says that we need a big economic stimulus, and thanks, Captain Obvious. Let's talk about this with somebody who is infinitely more entertaining than Mitt on the matter, Anthony Scaramucci, the Mooch. Let's take it to the Mooch.
Well, hey, Mooch, what's up with the markets, man? You obviously are an investment banker. You got your finger on the pulse. We saw a plunge because of a sell-off panic, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean for the layman's?
So, all right. So basically, the way you have to think about the markets is that the markets are worth whatever the earnings are for those companies. So let me give you an example. Let's say, what are you doing there, mister? You coming on with the hat?
We got to guess the appearance.
That's a hell of a
He's got
hat.
my Big Brother. I wore that Big Brother hat
Oh, man.
on the Big Brother program. And so
Looking
this kid-
sharp.
This
I need
kid
one of those
wears it to
hats.
school. Say hello, Nicky. Say hello to my buds.
Hey, Nick.
All right, let me talk to him for a little bit. He's wearing the Big Brother pink pimpin' hat. All right,
He's
God
looking
bless
good.
him.
Yeah.
But okay, so let me just try to explain this to you. Let's say I own a building with you guys. We go and buy a building for $100, and it has $10 worth of rent that we're going to collect every year.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that building is yielding 10% on our money. Right, we put $100 in, and we're getting $10 back.
Yeah.
So depending on interest rates, that building is worth a lot to us. So if interest rates go from 10 to 5%, now the market interest rate is 5%, well, that building is now worth $200 because you put the $200 in, you get the $10 back. It's equal to the current marketplace's interest rate. And so when you lower interest rates in the economy, it has an effect of lifting asset prices.
Right.
But what's going on in the marketplace right now, all those companies, Disney, American Airlines, Carnival Cruise, all those businesses are at a standstill. So they're not going to make any money in the next 1 to 2 quarters. So now when you're pricing them, now we own that building. I told you we're going to make $10 from that building, but every one of our tenants got sick. And now that building is only going to put out $2. And if the interest rate's at 5%, well, guess what? That building that we bought for $100 is now worth $40.
Yeah.
Do you think this happened?
Do you think they're
So
going to
that's
put?
what's going on in the
Yeah.
markets. The earnings are going down, and people can't calculate what the earnings are going to be. And now there's a little bit of a panic, and markets always overshoot to the downside, so they get oversold, and that's happening right now. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to finish the thought.
No, yeah, sorry about that. They do you think they'll put money in the hands of citizens, do some sort of stimulus here to try to get
Yes.
this thing going in the right
I
direction?
do believe that. I think that is the best recommended strategy. I absolutely believe that. This is akin to a tornado or a hurricane. So what FEMA does, they're going to the hurricane zone. The person has lost their house, but they have bills. They literally hand out stacks of cash, or they write them checks to deposit into their checking accounts to try to stimulate the area and get the area back to growth. And so, unfortunately, and again, I'm not blaming anybody for this, but we signed a $50 million national emergency package. Our population is about 5 times the Italian population.
Right.
And the Italians signed a $28 billion package. So we need way more than the $50 billion. We probably need $300 or $400 billion of stimulus.
Do you think Do you think this coronavirus and this market, kind of collapse or recession or whatever's coming is going to increase the wealth gap? Are people that can afford to, buy up all the stocks right now? Is the wealth gap just going to get that much bigger because of this?
Well, so in the short term, the wealth gap has probably gotten a little smaller, right? Because whoever owned those assets,
right, short
now
term,
worth 30% less.
Sure.
But I do think that you are right in the long term, because what ends up happening now, people that have those assets or have buying power in this market, they're going to buy this stuff at lower valuations. The middle class worker and the middle class and lower middle class families in our country, the real tragedy there is most people have $400 to $1,000 in their savings account. And so they're living paycheck to paycheck, or if they're running a small business, they're living monthly revenue to monthly revenue. And so they can't afford to have this sort of calamity stop, because they've got
their retirement funds too. It's 401k, mostly stock driven.
100%. So you have a double whammy going on. They've got money in their retirement fund that they're banking on. That's down 30%. And they can't pay March, April, and possibly May's bills.
Right.
So I do think there'll have to be a stimulus. But here is the scary thing about what you're saying, because you got your finger on the pulse of the exact right thing. We're going to learn something very sad about America in this crisis, that many of our fellow citizens are struggling. And so this sort of an air pocket, without help from the government or their wealthier family members, there's going to be some problems in the system.
Yeah.
It's going to create a lot of stress.
Let me ask you. So a lot of people, laymen in the financial space are saying, maybe you should buy. Because obviously, stocks are going to take a dip, and it's an event-based dip, right? It's not like the recession of 2008, which was based on fraud. Realistically, what's the move? I mean, you're in a different field because you're managing a fund, but what's the everyday American move right now? If you have a little bit of coin, you want to
I would say to sit tight. If you ask me the everyday American move last week, people were saying, oh, it's a good buying opportunity. Then the market rallied on Friday. The president staged a 3 p.m. press conference targeted to get that market to rally on Friday. And it did rally. It went up 8 or 10%.
Yeah.
And people were saying, oh, you see, we missed the buying opportunity. But
big dip today,
Yeah, they don't really understand what's going on. There's a massive capital markets reallocation and massive readjustment in the equity markets taking place right now. And so on a valuation basis, I think the market's still expensive.
Yeah.
Wow.
You think we're definitely hitting recession then? That's for sure.
No, there's no, you're all guys. I got bad news for your listeners. We're already in a recession. The second quarter. So the second quarter starts in March. We have the Skybridge economic team is estimating that the GDP output is down about 5%.
Yeah.
And it'll likely be down 3 or 4% in the third quarter. So
Mooch. What can we legalize weed now? Because that can sort of counteract.
Have you thought about that at Skybridge?
That would be
is that coming to the model?
I just saw toilet paper infused pot. Okay.
So you give you a little tingle.
Yeah, it'll cool off your buns during this crisis, basically.
Yeah.
So there you go. THC infused pot.
Mooch,
in case you need to. Exactly. In case you need to dial it down a notch downstairs.
That could be the answer to the recession.
You got no gray in your hair right now. Yeah, how bad is it?
I think it's actually a good color, actually.
I mean, how bad is it?
All right, so just for the record here, okay, because I'm an old man, that's Latin American dictator brown. After experimenting with hair dye for about 10 years. I was using Cuban leader black. It looked absolutely terrible on television. So I had to make the adjustment, and I got my guy glazing it a little bit. So I think it looks pretty good, no?
You went down a shade.
Oh, yeah, bro.
Nice,
and went down a shade, okay,
Okay.
I also think the Botox is working on my forehead. You could water ski off. Look how flat my forehead is.
Yeah, can you try to raise your eyebrows for us? Let's see them. Try to raise your eyebrows.
Right? Look,
that's pretty good.
But
got some
look, guys. When you're ready, you guys are like 15 and like 24. That's like the bid ask of you guys. When you're ready, when you're 85 years old like me, I'll give you all the tricks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
so one more question.
Go ahead, Wes. Go ahead.
So give us like an estimate. What how long is this going to take to bounce back? I mean, what are we
Okay, so that's a really good question. I'm doing this 31 years. I think we have a U going on, not a V. And so meaning a V would be we're going down and then we're going to bounce right back up. Okay, obviously the government would like that to happen, but that likely will not happen because of what I'm saying about these middle income people and lower middle class people. They're just going to lose their ability to stay in the consumption, and to do things, go to restaurants and things like that. Right. Number one, the restaurants are closed, but number two, they're saving their money right now because they may have lost their job as a waiter, or they may have, something may have happened. So what happens in a situation like this, you'll get a U. We're going to go down. It'll be in a flat zone for a period of time, and then it will start to trend up. And now we have to measure that U. So I think this is a 6-month, possibly 9-month situation.
Wow.
But here's the good news is the markets will recover before the economic data, because the markets will make a prediction that we're going in the right direction. Right. And so it's like a herd that moves slightly ahead of the rest of the general public.
So on that, I'm assuming that means that you are pretty bullish on Biden then, in the general.
Okay, so again, I'm a classic contrarian. I sat at a hedge fund conference in August of 2016. Michael Milken asked his peer group, who's going to win this election? Raise your hand if you think it's Hillary Clinton. The entire group had their hand up. Mm-hmm. Then they said, okay, who thinks Donald Trump's going to win the election? I raised my hand. Uh-huh. That group looked at me sneeringly, like I was a dope, but I didn't know what I was talking about. So he goes on to win the election. In January, I was at an event in Abu Dhabi. Who's going to win the election?
Humble brag, Mooch.
Was that a double brag? Hey, I'm a fantastic name dropper. Wait till I get into the name drop. I haven't even started dropping names. Just be patient, okay? I'm warming up right now, okay? Be patient, okay? And so I'm raising my hand for Joe Biden. Everyone else has got their hands raised for Trump. Now, because it's a moving target, you guys know we're in Trump world. This is Trump's world. We just happen to be living in it. And in Trump world, 230 days to go before the election is 500 years. Okay, so we can't say what's going to happen, but, you can't count Trump out. If the election's held tonight, he's obviously going to lose it. But I do think that if you don't like Trump, and obviously I am advocating against him at this point in my career, if you don't like Trump, the very, very good facts on the table are his self-destructive streak. And so he is finding a way to shoot his foot off every single day. That press conference again today probably contributed,
Right, Moose, let me set you up for that one. You having been the mouthpiece for him at some point in your career, how do you think he handled this press conference today and generally his messaging over the last week?
Well, today was better. It was definitely more subdued. He was actually reading from a script that the NIH put together for him, saying that there's a problem. He's out there 2 days ago or yesterday, I can't remember, saying we've got this thing totally under control and relax, and we've got this. And they're looking around telling him, no, we don't have this, because if you understand the math of epidemiology, you could have a million people die from this virus that do not need to die if we collectively tie this thing down.
Well, and then Fauci's saying the opposite, he's saying, no, it's very serious, the next
All
second.
Right, well, you guys are smart guys, so help me analyze Anthony Fauci's body language, right? He's looking over at Trump going, I mean, this is sort of bizarre that we have this lunatic running things.
Today was the first time I thought that they didn't have that awkward exchange between them on stage.
Yes, because he adapted today, and I 1,000% agree with you, and I want to encourage that. Look, I don't want the president to do poorly. Okay, we're obviously in a fight with each other, but I don't want the president to do poorly, particularly in a crisis like this. But if he is doing poorly, I got to be somebody out there that calls balls and strikes on this thing, because we got to get him out of there, man. Right. This is a guy that's throwing the pitches over the backstop now. He couldn't hit the strike zone right now if his life depended on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, up until those press conferences until today were not good. Today was a bit of a recovery, but yeah.
Mooch, you say you guys are in a fight. Well, I'm sorry if you want to respond to that.
Oh yeah, definitely in a fight. I defended and supported the guy for 3 years of my life. There was a couple of things he was doing that I absolutely disagreed with. I've got my own business. When he's making racist attacks against these 4 congresswomen, I'm a Republican. I'm a lifelong conservative. I don't agree with these congresswomen. I want to beat them in the free marketplace of ideas. I want to debate these women. I don't want them to go back to the countries that they originally came from. That's a racist trope. I mean, they told my Italian American grandmother in the 1920s to go back to the country that she originally came from. So I'm not going to disavow my personal history and my life story to support Donald Trump. I didn't like the comment, so he went after me.
Right.
Okay, him going after me, no problem. I'm a big boy. But then when he started attacking my wife on Twitter, okay, that's like a bridge too far. Some of you live in Austin. I am not Ted Cruz. Okay, do I look like Ted Cruz to you guys?
No.
Ted Cruz doesn't have my hair.
I think you could definitely beat him in basketball.
In the world of Ted Cruz, you would be starring on 90210. But
yeah, but let me tell you something about that situation. He's going after Heidi Cruz, and Ted Cruz kowtowed to this guy. I mean, come on, man. First of all, you could never survive in the neighborhood I grew up in if you did that, right? And so you guys, you look very studious to me. You guys, you obviously were really paying attention in social studies, very studious. And so what you know about our country is that the people run the country, and the document was set up to put the power in the hands of the people. And the guy that's the president of the United States is not a ruler. He's serving the people. Mm-hmm. And so, Trump has drawn a misdistinction in that job.
I don't think that he sees it that way.
No, he's not. Yeah. He thinks he's ruling over the country as opposed to serving the people. So we have to sort of reset that, and we have to explain to people what he's doing. But once he went after my wife,
right?
I will punch, and I say that metaphorically because I don't need to get the Secret Service involved, but I will punch metaphorically as hard as I can until he goes through the ropes.
Mooch, can I make a suggestion?
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
So what about an upper decker? Have you thought about an upper decker on Trump?
What does that mean?
An upper decker is when you take the top off a toilet and you go in the top tank instead of the bottom tank.
Oh, you drop the dump in the upper. No, I've never done that. But you know what an Italian baptism is?
No, what's that?
No, what's that?
Okay, so when I was dating my wife, this guy was hitting on her. You got time for this quick story?
Oh, yeah, we got all the time.
Okay, so I'm dating, being polite. The guy's a little drunk. And I said, okay, that's fun. Ha ha. Keep flirting with her. Ha ha. Then he said something ridiculous, like his plane is at Teterboro. He's going to fly her to the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, that was a bridge too far for me. So when he went into the bathroom, I gave him an Italian baptism. Okay, so I knocked him to the ground. I took his head and put it in the toilet and flushed it a few times. So that's an Italian baptism.
That's a swirly.
This story gets better. Okay, so now I'm hosting my wine party in Davos. And come on, it's a humble brag, right?
Yeah,
good
and there's people coming in, and this is like 2 years later. I'm looking at the security desk, and the guy is standing there at the security desk, right? So I'm like, I walk over to the guy. I said, "Didn't I put your head in the toilet like 2 years ago?" And he's like, "Yeah, you absolutely put my head in the toilet, but I need to get into this party. This is like a super hot party."
Oh no!
And I got my boss here. Can we let bygones be bygones? And will you let me into the party? Okay, so now what do you think I did?
That's impressive. You got to let him in.
I think you Italian baptism again.
That's why I'm on Barstool, right? 100%, right? Right? We drop grudges right away.
You got to let him 100%. Go with that.
But if you upper decked Trump, Mooch, the Secret Service isn't getting involved. I hear the guy's a germaphobe. So will you make a pledge to me that next time you go to the White House that you'll upper deck Trump?
Trust me, the next time I go to the White House, Trump will not be the president. Okay, I don't think I'm getting anywhere in the White House grounds while this guy's president.
Mooch, one more quick one for you. Bitcoin, buy or sell right now?
Yeah, so you guys probably know that space better than me. I have analyzed that space. I never got comfortable with it, and it's not because it's not good space. It may very well be, but I guess I'm an old school, sort of old fashioned investor. And there's a couple of rules in investing. So rule number one is don't lose money. And the second rule, which is like as important as rule number one, is rule number two is rule number one, right? I.e. don't lose money. So, and in order to do that, you have to really understand what you're investing in. So right now, there's securities in my portfolio that are down. Maybe I bought something at 100. It's trading at 60 right now, but I actually think it's worth 140, and I've done the homework, right? And so I'm totally comfortable holding it here, expecting it will rise. I can't make that confident statement to you about Bitcoin because I don't understand it.
Well, who does? It's very confusing.
Well, okay, so if you don't understand it, I don't want to sound overly old-fashioned, but I've lived through 6 stock market crashes in my career thus far. If you don't understand something, don't invest in it. One quick story, very important one.
Please.
Bernie Madoff, the criminal that stole everybody's money. I met with him a couple of times, and a lot of my friends had money with him. Well, why aren't you putting your money with Bernie Madoff? You know what? You guys may have money with him. You may like him. The performance looks good. I can't understand what he's doing. I've asked him 4 times to explain to me what he's doing.
What was that like? What was that explanation like?
It was bizarre. He was like a wizard. You know, he was like, well, I'm doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I got this going on, and I know this, and I got that. And I was like, okay, none of that made sense to me. So, and by the way, I'm not revising history here. I didn't think he was a criminal or anything like that. I just thought he was like a guru that was doing something so esoteric that I wasn't smart enough to understand. So sure. I will never forget that night. It was in December of 2008. I had that old BlackBerry, and I got a flash message from the New York Times that they had gone into his apartment and arrested him.
Yeah.
And this was, and I'm going to tell you, true story. I was standing on a Long Island Railroad train platform. The markets were imploding in November of 2008. Really rough September and October. The guy next to me, I said, how's Bernie Madoff doing in November? And by the way, I was getting annihilated. I just have to confess that to you guys, right?
Right, of course.
He's up 1.2%. I said, okay. I said, you got to get your money out of there as fast as possible because there's no way. Everything was correlating at 1.
Right.
And so, lo and behold, 3 weeks later, they had him going to prison.
Right. Yeah. We all know that guy that you're like, this guy's probably full of shit, but I can't tell if he's full of shit. But that was your Madoff.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, I actually, if you had asked me in 2007, I said the guy's a genius. He's a guru. So I'm not going to be one of these guys revising history and trying to tell you that, oh, yeah, I knew Madoff was a crook. I didn't. But I remembered those 3 simple rules. If you can't understand it, you can't invest in it. So Bitcoin, yeah, it's getting bludgeoned. But that should also tell you something, that Bitcoin is probably tied, super correlated to the markets.
I just keep throwing cash at it, Mooch.
I'm sorry?
Mooch, if I gave you $100,
yes.
Could you invest it for me? Because I got a credit score of 130. I'm stacked with Bitcoin right now.
Yeah, Mooch? What's your pick? Give us some.
Well, I mean, I love Apple Computer here. Love it. Okay, I love American Express. Remember, they're getting jammed up on these travel expenses for companies, airline. The stock has gotten blown out. Love that stock. That stock is a 100-plus-year-old company that's going to recover.
Any penny stocks?
Yeah, see, you guys are a lot like part of my take. They were asking me these
not
penny
much,
stocks.
not much capital. We're not very liquid.
I don't have any penny stocks, but I'll tell you what.
Okay,
I'm going to give you guys a book before you let me go. I'll give you guys a book that you should read. Okay, and it was written in the 1920s. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon, and it was written by a guy named George Clason, Clason. And if your listeners are paying attention, go buy that book. It's this big. So if you have a short attention span, you can read it in a very short period of time. But it was transformative for me as a kid because it spelled out what you actually need to do if you want to become financially independent. And you're all young guys.
Marry rich.
And I'm gonna that's a good one. You got to be born rich or marry into it. But if you can't do that and you're like me and you're going to scrap it together, read that book. It'll be very insightful for you.
Man in Babylon.
All right, Mooch, we're going to wrap it up. I got one more, then we got to do a clap.
I sort of feel like we didn't spend enough time on the Italian baptism.
No, I know. Hey, that's going to be in there, baby. That's great.
I can visualize the whole thing for you when we get together, in the studio.
I would love to see it. We got to get together when this thing is done, but when this virus is done. But right. Mooch, are we going to reach levels of 2008 bad? Should the American people be prepared for that?
I don't think so. No, this is one of you guys made the point that it's not a systemic crisis induced by fraud. It is a healthcare scare that is causing a liquidity crisis in the markets.
Right.
That should be temporary.
Temporary, yeah.
And we should be able to restore confidence in businesses after this.
That was the Mooch, y'all, and that interview was brought to you by our sponsor, Predict It. If you go to predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20, we will match your first $20 deposit. That's a free $20. Predict It is the website where you can gamble on news and politics. I'm making a killing right now on will Bernie stay in the race past the 20th of March, I think, with the delayed primaries, which I'm about to get into. That's a lot. Predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20. Sorry we didn't do a pick show on Friday, but it's Corona fever over here.
Yeah, it's Corona. We might be able to figure out how to do a remote Corona show, a remote picks Corona show.
That's true.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Steaks?
I'm down. I'm down to do whatever.
All right, guys, today is Super Tuesday 3.0. Both of you guys are the thirds, meaning that your father and your grandfather have the same name as you.
That's
so
not
you guys
true
should be
about
really
me.
appreciating this.
That's not true about me. I'm the second. I was named after my great-grandfather.
Really, Wes?
Are you a second or a junior?
No, junior is father's son. I'm a second.
So you're the second.
Yeah.
You get a 2,
Yeah.
Roman numeral 2. Yeah, I'm a Roman
Right.
numeral 3. Yeah.
That's cheating. Can you feel the energy? There's some mega states up for voting, guys. We're talking Arizona. We're talking Florida. We're talking Illinois. Ain't no noise in
4
Illinois.
states? Super Tuesday 3.0 is crazy.
I know. I like how they really pace it out like this and don't just do it all on one day. We're talking Ohio. And I'm not sure this is such a good idea, guys, being that the White House advised people not to get together in groups of more than 10, which, by the way, allows for a full game of basketball to be played, but prevents a full football team from assembling. I want to point that out. Thoughts?
Yeah, it's true. Basketball can still go on with no crowd. But
Prejudice.
you also have no subs or coaches.
That's true, but all you need is the men out there and their hearts and the ball. But seriously, the only place you can find a higher concentration of olds is at morning swim than a voting polling place. So this is a bad idea. Ohio,
Or
which
a
is perhaps,
Florida beach right now, currently.
I don't know if the olds are down there, man.
I'm just saying there's lots of people on spring break still, or at the Florida beaches.
Really? Is that true?
Yeah, I saw a video. It's Monday night, and I saw a video of Monday afternoon, packed to the gills.
Corona can't fuck with my
Clearwater.
spring break. I love that. I love that spirit. Ohio, guys, which is perhaps the most important state when it comes down to who's going to be the president, is really pissed off right now after a judge struck down a Governor Mike DeWine's request to move the primary to June. See, Judge Dick Fry, he goes by Richard, but I'm taking a liberty, struck his gavel down and said, quote, "There is no medical evidence here today to suggest that it would be safer to vote in June." Why then did they move? Did election officials in Ohio move close to 150 polling places that were originally supposed to be held in nursing homes and assisted living facilities? Why would they do that then, Dick Fry?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right.
That Dick Fry has no good answers for that, but he's not going to answer that question because he just slammed his gavel and walked away.
We got a real Iowa situation happening here in Ohio. Essentially, word got out that the primary was being moved, and Hamilton County Deputy Director of Elections Sally Crissell confirmed that reports that poll workers had already been told to not show up today. So they canceled them, and now they're uncanceling them because of bad intel.
So we have no idea how it's going to play out.
It's not going to be good, guys. There will be not be a large voter turnout tomorrow. And honestly, there's like old people vote. You're going to send old people into death's door? I don't think so.
That's a really good point.
They should have postponed this thing. This is an outrage.
Well, more sensible states, Wes, like Kentucky, Louisiana, and Georgia, they all moved their primaries to later in the year. For the record, right now, Biden is absolutely crushing Bernie in all
It doesn't
polls in
matter,
all
so
4
why
states.
even hold it? Why even hold the it doesn't matter. Like, Biden's going to win, so what's the point?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Like,
I mean,
I'm saying, like, why not delay? Because it's not like it's not like somebody's dying to have this election tomorrow.
I wholeheartly agree. I think it's not so much about the presidential primary; it's about all the other elections that take place. It's about stopping,
like pushing
and
it back, and then having to reschedule shit later on. Yeah,
right. A lot of people on the ballot. All right, guys, let's take it to the internet real quick. Myra JB says Remember Judge Fry at election time. Too bad he's in office till 2023. Justin Hossman says, simply a panty waist, Judge. I'm going to do let's see.
What is a panty waist?
Panty waist?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's an old school insult.
So he's calling the judge a panty waist.
The judge, it's like saying your mother wears army boots. Or
Ooh, that sounds insulting. Yeah.
I think it's calling you a pussy is what it's doing.
Yeah,
you don't want to be called a panty waist. Man, that's pretty deep.
This is my best Ohio accent from Anne-Marie Hinze Connor. Piat, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Way to endanger a crap load of elderly in the state. I agree. Kelly Swan says, glad I will vote. People forget that this country was built by those who took all manner of risks, many who suffered and died, so that we would have the right to do what goes down tomorrow.
You're exactly like George Washington crossing the Delaware. Yep.
Exactly. And Avon Voss says, Kelly Swan, committing suicide is not a noble act. Little PC police in there. Andy Teague says, seems like a douche judge. And then finally, Lori King says, wear a scarf and gloves. It'll be cold. Take a Q-tip to use as your own stylus. Bam! Instant protective barriers. Throw away the Q-tip as you exit. Bag your scarf and gloves and wash them at home. So
wow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair
Good.
enough.
Solid advice, but Jesus Christ. All right, guys, let's get into, as most of us have found out the hard way, getting into debt is easy. Getting out is hard, especially if your credit score isn't great. Thankfully, now there's Upstart.com, the revolutionary lending platform that knows you're more than just your credit score and offers smarter interest rates to help you pay off high-interest credit card debt. So Upstart goes beyond the traditional credit score when assessing your credit worthiness. They actually reward you based on your education and job history in the form of a smarter rate. I mean, I know I have a degree. I own my own business, IQ of at least 120. I'm going to get a pretty good rate, right? You know,
it's going to be a great rate from Upstart.
Yeah, you better believe it. Upstart believes you're more than just a credit score. They believe in you, and I appreciate that.
Wes, do they check your social media?
No, if they did, they would take all my money from me because I wouldn't know what to do with it.
No loans for Wes.
Yeah, no loans for me. They make it fast, simple, and easy to check your rate. Since it's just a soft pull, it won't affect your credit score. The hard pull happens if you accept your rate. The best part, once the loan is approved and accepted, most people get their funds the very next business day, the next day. Over 400,000 people have used Upstart to pay off credit cards or meet their financial goals. Free yourself from the burden of high-interest credit card debt by consolidating everything into one monthly payment with Upstart. See why Upstart is top-ranked in their category with a 4.9 out of 5 rating on Trustpilot, and hurry to upstart.com/factor to find out how low your Upstart rate is. Checking your rate only takes a few minutes. That's upstart.com/factor.
Nice.
And guys, we're going to end with a fun one, right? We need a little fun in all this fucking crazy shit.
Bring us some laughs, Wes.
I'm gonna try to bring you some laughs. So, guys, Lauren Grabber of Nova Scotia, Canada, is a bit miffed, guys. You see, Lauren is very proud of his last name, which may be pronounced Grabier or Grabber or Grabier, but it's spelled Grabher. Grab her. You can probably see where this is going. Lauren was so proud of his last. Okay, well, good. Good, this is going to be surprising.
But I'm excited.
Lauren was so proud of his last name that he insisted it be on his vanity license plate, spelled just like that. No spaces, all caps, just Grabher. Something he had proudly displayed with no problem for over 3 decades, all the way back to 1990. So long before Me Too, long before Trump's infamous grab him by the pussy line, just a simple last name, vanity license plate, right? Pretty harmless,
Simple.
right?
It's his last name.
It's his last name.
It's a fucking racket, though, by the way, because you got to pay like $50 a year to maintain that plate. That's
it just depends. It depends on the state. I don't know what the Canada laws are, but it's different state to state. Texas is very expensive.
Yeah. So, it meant nothing except, maybe it did. Maybe he laughed to himself, thinking he was getting away with something. But back in 2016, problems began arising when an anonymous person called the DMV and complained, citing the license plate promoted violence toward women, and the plate was instantly canceled.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. But like all grabbers, Lauren didn't give up and hired attorneys to fight the decision, citing they were violating his freedom of expression, that it was discriminatory, and even unreasonable. So fast
Which
forward
is,
to
by the way, that law only applies in Canadian law. We don't have that in America.
unreasonable.
But yeah, it's a thing. You can sue someone for being unreasonable up there.
Right, exactly. So fast forward to January, and Grabber's license plate has turned into a constitutional debate. The Supreme Court of Nova Scotia ruled that license plates are not public places, and that the Grabber plate contains a statement that is socially unacceptable and can't provide further context. So all you see is Grabber. Not like, you can explain, no, it's not, just, it's my last name, blah, blah, blah. So, well, that sent the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms off the wall, saying the license plate was, quote, an expression of the Grabber's family pride over 3 generations, reflecting their German, Austrian roots and heritage. There's no evidence that anyone, including the anonymous complaint, had suffered any harm as a result of the plate. So, there's no evidence that censoring Mr. Grabber's name after 27 years is making anyone, safer.
Yeah, but that, like, when he was driving with that plate, oftentimes a car would pull up to him and be like, Where should I grab her? And he would honk. He'd be like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah.
He loved it. He
Does he have
absolutely
kids?
loved
Do we
it.
know a
It's his
couple
last
little
name.
grabbers?
Let him have it. It's his last name. I don't understand.
Pat, he looks like he has kids. He's in his late 40s. I don't know. So they're fighting this out in court. I'm certainly rooting for him. Maybe he can put like a bumper sticker next to it that says, not like that, you pussy, or something like that. But guys, this had the comment section just loaded with a bunch of comedians. All about the you says he should change his name to Pound Me Too. And then GFGDC070, GFGDC070 says, I guess Mike Hunt will be next. Oh, the poor dears. And then my favorite, Arkmark, says, happened to a guy from Thailand years ago. Wanted to memorialize his village. Fuck it. Phuket. I know how to spell Phuket.
That's some real Canadian humor. That's actually pretty risque for a Canadian comment board.
Right.
Yeah, pretty good. Really exploring the space out there.
Yeah, so hopefully that lightened you up after all this Corona shit, and that's going to do it for Hard Factor. I believe Mark's going to be back on the show tomorrow. He's done fighting.
And you know what?
Corona.
I think we can make a pledge. Tomorrow will be an exclusively no coronavirus show. Can we make that pledge?
I don't know. Mark might want to tell us.
What the fuck Wednesday?
I mean, it's whatever you submit. Listen,
you need the break, and we want a break too. So submit all non-coronavirus stories.
That'd be nice.
Yep, and also remember to leave us a voicemail, 512-270-1480. Keep those reviews coming. Maybe we'll get to some of those tomorrow if we get some more submissions in time. So, follow us on Instagram, all that good stuff. Hey, stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Stay away from old people. And most importantly, have a great fucking day.